morning! Oh wait, actually it's 1 PM. Well, anyway, welcome back to DML. Today we are moving on to level 6 of the Year of the PIGSY event because we managed to find the key in the second to last chest on level 5, which is wonderful. And we've got this amazing chest here to open up, and never mind, it had absolutely nothing of value in it. That's depressing. So, moving on to level 6, this is what the level looks like, and I have to say, it's very bright, it's very colourful, and the thing that I like the most about this map overall, aside from, you know, the cool looking lights and everything, are these little koi fish. Look at them! I mean, they look sort of dead because they're not fully animated, which is kind of spooky, but, you know, I'll take it. I'll take it, they're cute. I'll deal with it. Thank you, Gameloft, for the addition. So, yeah, our key luck has not been the best during this event, so you might either be watching this and going, wow, level 6 already, you're crazy! Or you might be watching this going, ooh, I finished the event 2 days ago, hee hee. Because, you know, this is one of those events where your key RNG really determines how quickly you finish, which is one of the main complaints that we've had about castle events since their inception. I mean, the upgraded version that they started using in the Egyptian Divine event was super good, because it didn't matter how unlucky you got with the keys, you had the same chance of winning as anyone else, because, you know, you got the same amount of currency on every level. Obviously, they've decided to regress, which I'm not happy about, because my key luck does not tend to be too hot. But, you know, it's one of those inevitabilities that you just got to accept at this point. So, I'm still continuing on. Hopefully soon enough we will have Mr. Pigsy, but we do have 5 days left, so we should be more than good to finish. So coming back to PC DML, we have just finished breeding our beautiful little Lilith dragon, so she will now take about 2 days for us to hatch since we have VIP on, so I cannot wait to go ahead and take a look at her because she is a little cutie pie. So now that we have that stuff out of the way, my next goal is honestly probably going to be to breed the Orca dragon. The only thing is we need to get our dragons to enchantment level 5 and enchantment level 6 respectively. And at the moment we don't have a whole lot of trinkets, so we can't really upgrade our materials for this. I mean, we can do a few, but we're not quite there yet. So again, our next main breeding target is indeed this new legendary for us, and eventually Scully, and eventually one day, maybe the day we die, we will breed Sandshade. But since we've got nothing else to really breed at the moment, I guess we'll just go for another Lilith, because why not? I was going to say, if we managed to breed another one on this account, I would have been impressed, to say the least. So, you know, good luck if you are still trying to breed Lilith. But I did want to touch on something that's been talked about on the DML forums, because people were saying, hello DML team, when is the new Divine event? And Andrus did respond. He didn't give a really definitive answer, but he said, we are happy that you're getting excited. We can't share more info on the next one yet, but its start date is getting closer and closer, which is the most vague thing I have ever heard in my life. That's basically a way of saying, yeah, you're not getting the start date. I'm not even hinting towards it. I'm literally just saying the passage of time has taken us closer to the release of the inevitable event. Thank you. You have confirmed that an event will one day be released. Now, I think this is actually pretty smart, because people go, oh my god, the Divine event's coming soon, Quacks, it's coming soon. It's like, that's not what that says at all. That's not what that means. So then someone was like, have you noticed they never tell you exact dates until we ask? And then they said, usually we share the full schedule of Divine events more than a week in advance, so you have enough time to prepare. Which, you know, they do. They do indeed give us a little bit of prep time for the Divine events. But they say, usually we share the full schedule more than a week in advance. So that makes me think, you're saying usually. Why are you saying usually and not saying we always? Is that to avoid one day people going, aha, I've caught you out in your trap, mister? Or is that hinting towards the fact that maybe we're not going to do that from now on? Either way, it spooked me a little bit. And again, you gotta look at terminology and really pick it apart sometimes, because sometimes what is posted by people is very intentional. Very, very intentional. So, you know, when other game developers, for example, say something like that, you'll get like 900 analytical videos going, "Oh my god, secret message in dev comments." We don't really get that in DML. And we have, obviously, like any other company, they have made mistakes in their text before, which, you know, obviously skews it a little bit as well. But look, we know that a new Divine event is coming. We know that there are new Divines in the game. Again, only 3 of them so far, unless they decide to bring out any more in like a mini patch, and maybe that was the big debate all along. However, if they're saying that the new Divine event is coming, I'm not sure if they're making alterations to it right now, or if they're just trying to, you know, fit it into the calendar schedule timings. But either way, we do have it coming, so just start getting everything ready in general. Like, you know, make sure that you've got your team evenly leveled if you can, because obviously castle style events and events like that benefit a lot if your team is an even level. So if, say you've got like level 32 dragons and a level 26 dragon, maybe you can focus on feeding up the level 26s just to, you know, put them a little bit closer to the other guys. But, you know, at the end of the day, it is up to you, because, I mean, you do benefit majorly for map progress if you use one singular really high level dragon. You know, I always talk about it, is if you want to progress on the map, use one massively higher level dragon than all the others, but you gotta concede that if you do that, the other more even style stuff like the dungeon and castle events, for example, they will become much, much harder. Again, I still don't know why to this day this game penalizes you for, you know, choosing to play how you want, but unfortunately that's the way that the game is. And after 4 years they are yet to change it, so I assume that they don't care, and they don't want to change that about the game. I mean, at the same time, it does make the events harder for select people, so it makes them more likely to spend during events. So it makes sense, right? Doesn't mean I enjoy the idea of it. I understand why they've done it. Doesn't mean I'm happy about it. And give me more legend. That's pretty good, actually. You know, anytime I get legendary mats and anytime I get a ton of trinkets, that makes me a happy girl. So thank you for that game. But I don't know, man. Would I want a new Divine event soon? Because this is another thing that people have been talking about. Like, I don't want another Divine event this soon. Wee. And look, I've been like that before, but the reason I was like that the other time is because there was a short span of time where we had, I think it was 2 Divine events within 2 months, something like that. Or there was like a 1-month break and then we had another Divine event. But it's actually been a little while since the previous Divine event now. So, when you're talking about whether you want a new Divine event, also take into account the fact that there are a lot of players that have started playing since after the last Divine event was released, and they don't have any Divines. They've never played an event like that before, so to them, there is a chance for them to get some really good dragons from these specialized events. And just having too many events all in a row can be super annoying, super painful, and really tiresome and draining. But when it comes to Divine events, you gotta put it in perspective. If they're just whacking them out one after the other, I understand why you'd get annoyed, but it's been a little while, and those lower level players, and players without Divines in general, they deserve the chance to get some of the best dragons in the game. Because, I don't know why my voice is dying, by the way, but, you know, they have a severe disadvantage to begin with in the fact that if you're new, you just don't have the dragons and the resources that everyone else has. So, at the very least, they're gonna want a good Divine. So taking the chance away from them to get the new Divines is kind of cruel in a way. Like, it's tough. It's like a permanent tightrope because of the way that this game is made, because of how pay-to-win it is, and how reliant on, you know, time played rather than player skill or anything actually is. Like, if you want to impress the lower level people, you're gonna get a bunch of people elitist screaming that the events aren't hard enough, even though they're already way too hard, and way harder than they should ever be for, you know, the general populace to enjoy the event. And then, if you put everything for the higher level players, then obviously your lower level players, and probably your mid-tier players as well, are probably gonna find it way too difficult. And they're probably going to complain that, you know, they're not getting looked at, and they don't care, and they only cater to select groups of people. So I don't think there's really a good way for them to handle it, because, I mean, they made the game on a terrible premise to begin with it being the way that it is, but at the very least, I would welcome a new Divine event if the events weren't so goddamn long and so tedious. Like, maybe if you want to bring out new Divines for the players that don't have them, why don't you bring out a Divine event that is just a little bit on the easier side this time? And by easier side, I mean, it's probably still going to be too difficult, because it's Game Loft, but they don't all have to be the hardest events in the game. Just because they give us some of the best dragons in the game, that's not necessarily the case anymore, is it? Because we have Hathors and we have Freyas that aren't even available anymore. So at this point, you know, just throw all of the min-maxing and complaining about who gets good dragons or not, because all the pay-to-win people already have Hathor and Freya anyway. So whether we give out the newbies a Chrono Zeus or not, they're still going to get outclassed by Hathor and Freya users. So maybe I've just lost care in the world since those exception divines got released because of how blatantly, disgustingly OP they are. But at this point, it's like, the balance is so shifted. The balance is so wrong at this point anyway, that you might as well just start giving out divines basically for free to try and give other people the opportunity to play the video game. And again, you might go, oh, you're over-exaggerating, but trust me, when you get to the point where every single opponent in the arena is level 100 fully enchanted, I will assure you that it matters very much. Like, you can see my opponents in the arena now, level 100s, fully enchanted. They might have one dragon that's not fully enchanted. And yes, I do tend to come in contact with a few Hathor and Freya users. But, you know, when this happens, and you end up having to go against these incredibly overpowered dragons, they can decimate an entire team on their own, because they have way too much health, and they have way too much attack. So I feel it. I feel it a lot, and to other people that will get to level 100 dragons, they're gonna feel it too. So it might not be a problem for you in the very immediate future, having like level 50 dragons, where everything is just based off of dragon level. But it will come back to bite you, eventually, when you literally cannot win fights because of one dragon. So I don't know, maybe this was just another way for me to ramble about Hathor and Freya again. But if anything, I hope that it makes sense to you why, even if you're a little bit tired of divine events, they're almost a necessary evil at this point because of, again, how skewed everything has become. So, I think what I'll do is I'll finish this last arena fight off, and then I will skedaddly skadoodly for today. But, you know, I will be keeping an eye out for the new event news, if there is any, because, I mean, the Divine event, he said it's getting closer to its release date. That could mean any time between now and 80 years from now. Like, I could say, my death is getting closer and closer. Oh, I'll do one more. It doesn't mean that my death is guaranteed to happen tomorrow, it literally means what it says on the tin. You know, death is coming closer for every single one of us. Maybe I could have used a less morbid example. I think you get what I'm saying anyway, so... You know, let's wreck these poor duties. I love it whenever I see epics and commons in the arena, because it's just like a guaranteed win. It's absolutely beautiful. Like, we could do this one as well, because Tesla, Fire, and him? Really? A Minotaur? I almost said Meteorite. A Minotaur? Why? Why would you... I mean, maybe he's doing it so he can make a challenge for themselves. Like this one here, Dark Matter Ceremony and Sunflower. May I ask why? Please? Oh, it's easier to enchant them. Yeah, well, if you've got level 100s, you had more than enough time to level up a legendary or a divine, or many of them at that. Because, I mean, if my Android account, by the time it's got level 30 dragons, they're already enchanted to like level 3, I'm sure anyone else can do it as well. Especially by the time they get level 100s, like, jeez. Oh, whatever. I'm just moaning now, so... Thank you for joining me today in DML. Good luck with all of your event progress and breeding. And until the next time I see you, enjoy yourself, and I will see you then.